Hey,
Hello,
Caesar.
Caesar.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
We
we can.
can.
Hello. I have a
Hello.
feeling that my question is going to be a bit of a repetition. It seems like
It's okay. It
That's
can fit
perfect.
out
everybody's
of it.
facing
Actually, I think we're up all
everybody's
the way.
facing the same
Can you
thing.
turn your microphone up at all by any chance? Do you have
Uh,
any?
Let me connect my headset. Maybe it might be better.
Yeah, it's very quiet. I have my speakers up all the way, but it's very quiet.
Um, Let me know if this gets any better. Just a sec. Sorry. Does it get any better now?
That is better.
Yes, thank
Thank you.
you.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so my issue is similar to what people shared before as like triggers as well. Like
Yeah.
a situation happened at work today. I had certain expectations. I had a meeting like with my manager, and then something that happened like really triggered me, and I noticed like these stories, patterns, like explaining that you mentioned on the second fetter, and I was wondering how to further explore it. So yeah, basically what I noticed is this like contraction, this kind of like energy in the chest, just feeling like hurt or like disrespected or something like that. Like I'm not being appreciated, that kind of thing came up. And then after the fact, after I turned off the call, I noticed my mind just keeps ruminating. It goes into like trying to explain who is fair, what's not fair,
Mm.
what's done. Yeah, and I could notice of what you explained before. I looked into like questioning these stories and just like, okay, what is actually fair?
Yeah.
What is actually happening?
Yeah.
What why does it matter, the story, what's in the body? And it fluctuates. Like once I realize I'm just like making up, trying to either make myself a victim or make them evil. Like once this is seen through, like the body calms down again, but soon it starts to come back up and just keeps coming back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, I wonder how would you go about investigating this
You're doing
further?
angry about it.
Well, I'm curious also. So when you have that you do the little investigation, you notice it, you see that what is fair, and that kind of goes away. What is the next thing that happens? I know you said that it starts to come up again. Is it because another thought comes up about it that triggers that again? Is it a thought first, or is it some other sensation in the body first?
I feel the sensation keeps like floating around here. It doesn't get as triggering as some strong moments, but I feel the body can like keeps an energy going that's still slightly uncomfortable. It keeps shooting me back in the head in stories and narratives, or I would just reach for a cookie or something like that. Like I
Yeah.
just want to like, this has to go away. It's like really uncomfortable.
Okay, so what is making that sensation uncomfortable?
Mm, I don't know.
It's I
uh,
I I venture to guess that it's probably not as actually uncomfortable as the assumption is about it, right? Because as you said, it's triggering more and more thoughts. There are these, you're ping-ponging back between that sensation and more thoughts, which are themselves quite uncomfortable. I'm assuming if they're putting you in a victim position and creating these,
yeah.
perpetrators out there and all that, none of that is a good place to be.
Yeah, I guess this is why I wanted to go away because it keeps like it kind of makes me restless, and then I think it's because I feel a bit out of control, like it's just like taking over me, and yeah,
Yeah.
So this is where we go back to again, one thing that can help this is to find, like I said to Glenda, that kind of open awareness, spaciousness, where that sensation perfectly okay to be there.
Mm.
So if you feel that, I mean, if right now, if you can feel that sensation come up, like if you can remember the story that happened at work and kind of drum that up and feel how it's there, hold that sensation kind of in captivity for a moment. So you're just completely aware of this ball of tension, whatever it is. You don't even need to label it, but whether it's got like sort of a anxious, restless quality, however it is, it's fine. Let that label
hmm
go. Be with just the sensation of it.
hmm
And in the bare experience of that sensation, without immediately going to thought about it, can you tell that this sensation has anything to do with the situation at work.
No, it feels like from the past, like stuff from the past that's triggering this.
Good. So one thing you can do is to start out by just feeling it. And as you inhale, see if you can breathe into the sensation. Feel what happens as you breathe into the chest swells, and you just feel this sensation being met and almost energized by this. We're not making it more intense, but you're bringing this both attention to it and also this openness of breath that is reminding the body also that it's okay to breathe and exist while this sensation is present.
Yeah, it feels like it's moving a little bit to the gut and to the throat.
Nice. So just keep holding it wherever it is. It's okay. And keep breathing. And like I had mentioned to Glenda, if is there a feeling for you of as these sensations are there, does it feel like it's recreating a sense of a Caesar who's kind of in the middle as the victim, not just of the story that might have propelled all of this, but also as a victim to the appearance of these sensations who just needs them to go away?
Yeah,
Yeah. So instead of reinforcing that sense of victimized self that's there, we want to see if, first of all, can you tell how that little Caesar is being made? In other words, which aspects of your five senses right now is that Caesar showing up in? Which of the five senses or combination of them? If you can very quickly get kind of a sense of how that is coming about.
it comes like some very quick flashes of memories, but it's mostly in the body, like the tactile sensation.
Good. And so there's a sensation in the belly and in the throat. Where is the Caesar felt who is at the mercy of these sensations being here?
Maybe mm, it's like weird. It's like that. I don't know actually. Maybe feels like
Mhm.
in the head, maybe like
Yeah.
behind the eyes more.
Good. So feel the sensations that are behind the eyes. Feel the sensation in the throat, the sensation in the belly. If they move, if they change, that's fine. Just keep feeling those. Keep feeling the sensation in the eyes. Is there any difference in the quality of those sensations that make one of them into Caesar or a victim and the other one the sort of outside perpetrating sensation that is so uncomfortable it needs to go away?
I guess just the intensity, maybe a little bit.
Good. But is
Like
the
I'm feeling the foot and the heart, for
yeah,
example. So it feels like the same thing, but just a little bit more pronounced in the heart.
yeah, great. But the overall quality of the sensation is effectively the same, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now holding all of those in awareness, see if you can feel sort of the boundaries of the body, wherever that seems to be. Feel the pressure of the skin on the seat or on the clothes. Feel the air on the skin. And then see if you can feel this peripheral opening. So you might notice if while you're doing this, you're feeling that even though your eyes are closed, that you're still sort of centrally focused on something. See if you can relax that gaze again, even with the eyes closed. Take in more of the periphery of the vision and see if you can expand as the visual field is expanding out to the periphery. See if you can take that felt sense, which is very contracted along the eyes, throat, chest, stomach, and see if you can expand that felt sense out to where you're feeling more of the boundary of the skin and even beyond the boundary of the skin.
Yeah, right now the boundaries are not very like clear. It's just like a fog.
Nice. So see if you can be in that fog, right? So that is taking up equal precedence, equal priority as the sensations that are in the belly and the throat. And while you're feeling this kind of outer fog, do you notice that it's less intrusive that these sensations in the belly and the throat and the chest are there? They can still be there, but do they seem less problematic that they're there?
Yeah,
Hmm. So this is something where in a very quick dose that you can do when you're in a situation like at work where if you don't have time to go and do like because we can do those things like we did in the workshop where you were asking into the sensation, what emotion do I feel when I feel this, and you can go down that route, or you can dialogue with the sensation itself and ask, if it has messages for you. But if you're at work, something you can practice doing is having this more open, spacious, um, 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 uh, the word has just lost me. I'm sorry. But having the open space for these sensations to appear
like
starts to collapse
panoramic,
that. Sorry.
you mean like panoramic view, like
Yeah,
or
yeah. Having more of that panoramic, open peripheral kind of experience, it puts it so that all of a sudden that centralized sense of Caesar. Have you noticed that as you go more out to the periphery, that sense of Caesar that's kind of behind the eyes or somewhere located in there starts to kind of loosen a bit?
yeah,
So this gives you more space for these sensations to appear where you don't have to immediately go to the reaction or the story about it. And this can be done for emotionally triggered things like, somebody says something to you at work, you feel this contraction in the chest, and you immediately start to spiral into stories. Feel the sensation in the chest and then see if you can widen out to make room for it. So it's there, you can still feel it, but all of a sudden it's taking up a much smaller part of the overall real estate of this, awareness that's here. And then from there, you might find if you just sit there for a minute or two sitting with the sensation that the stories no longer need to be connected to it because there's nothing going on with this sensation that has anything to do with the actual experience of this moment. And there's no story that's actually connected to it outside of the mind reinforcing it with
Mm.
another idea after another idea after another idea. It's just simply sensation in the body, which can be there for as long as it needs to be without causing you to have to go grab something to eat or distract with the mind. So widen the the space in which all of this is appearing. And you can do that for the emotional things. You can also do that for, little physical pains, things that happen that you can't immediately do anything about. But it makes it so that 4 or 5 reactivity against it just suddenly is kind of meaningless. It just kind of falls away because now there's just sensation. It's perfectly fine because the you that was in the center that had to be against it, needing for it to be different than it is, that dissolves along with that the opening of the space.
yeah, yeah,
I
that
love
makes
that.
sense.
I love that. It's so useful. It's so, so useful asking those questions. So when your boss says something and you have that feeling of I'm not appreciated, then really in that moment, just see if you can push pause on everything. And like Todd said, see if you can, is there connection between the thought about your boss not appreciating you and the contraction in your chest. How can those two be connected? How can something your boss say be connected with your body at all without you connecting it? That's not possible. So, is there any connection at all between what the boss said and what you feel in your body? None at all. Okay, so your boss can finish the meeting and then you can turn the computer off and then just sit and notice, okay, so where did I just place a Caesar in the middle? What is it right now that I need to create space to that clearly has happened once in my life because I have a deep, deep-seated, embodied physical memory about it. So what is it right now that needs my love, attention, and compassion to what is happening? It's got nothing to do with my boss at all. But he was just the medium to activate something that you need, to feel into. It's just whatever he said, it's just a metaphor for whatever you need to address in it. And do what Todd just did with you, where you dissolve that Caesar that's a victim and that can have an opinion about anything being any different than what it is, dissolving that, and then it just becomes so much easier to be with.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I love
Mm.
that.
Yeah, and the beauty is when as you're doing that, it is even though you're not going back to whatever time in your life that, first injury happened, this kind of thing will lead you to the next time your boss says something or you feel that sense of unfairness, all of a sudden unfairness just doesn't make sense in the same way.
Mm.
That doesn't have that same traction that it used to. And that's why in the fourth and fifth inquiry, we do a lot of that where it's like, does craving actually exist? Does aversion actually exist in that
Does
same way?
irritation and annoyance
Yeah,
actually exist?
exactly. How am I translating what I'm feeling into the belief that this other thing
Mm.
is real and that I need to behave a certain way because this thing is now present? It's not present. There's an idea. There's some sort of, mental activity that's going on, and there's some sort of sensation in the body, and there's this false connection that's happening between them. And we just need to see that that connection is false, that it doesn't really exist, that there are thoughts that don't need to be believed and sensations that don't need to be villainized. And when you have that space to be able to accept everything just appearing, problem solved.
Mm.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Steve.
I think the retreat really helped, especially like talking about the bubble of reality. This has become a lot clearer to me. I
Mm.
was just like, okay, I could see everything happening. I could see what was going on, but I was just, yeah, wondering, okay, is this just like sit with the sensations and yeah, this will decondition the system, but I guess that's it. Yeah.
And you
Mm.
can, do those other things that we talked about if you're in like a situation where you're at home and you have more space to do it, where you do the like, when I feel the sensation in my chest, I feel the emotion. You
Yeah.
can go down that road and you can do, dialoguing with it and being like, do you have any message for me? Is there anything you want to tell me? You can feel into it and just feel the emotionality that's there. And just instead of like putting it to, oh, this is unfairness or something else, you just feel the emotion that is inherent there and just completely let it play itself out.
Mm.
Those are also options that you can do when you're, not at work and
Yeah.
and have the time to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Caesar.
much, Caesar.
So
Yeah.
lovely to
Yeah.
see you.